Hello everyone, I am Ayushi Agarwal from ABS Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Today in this video lecture, we will be discussing first topic of our Unit 1, that is functional unit of digital system. So when we talk about computer organization and architecture, we first need to understand what this term computer organization and architecture basically means. So this word computer organization and architecture, this subject comprises of is a combination of two processes, computer architecture and computer organization. So let us first understand the term computer architecture. So the term computer architecture basically means you are listing out the behavioral properties, behavioral functions that you need your system should perform. So listing out all those activities, functions, and tasks for which you are designing your system is computer architecture. Once you have listed out all your behaviors, all your component functionalities that your system need to perform, then you decide, then you organize the components of the CPU and interconnect them so that your functionality, your desired functionality should be performed by the system efficiently. So कंप्यूटर आर्किटेक्चर में हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हम अपने बिहेवियरल पॉइंट्स को या हम अपने फंक्शनैलिटीज को जो हम अपने सिस्टम से करवाना चाहते हैं, जिसके लिए हम अपना सिस्टम डिजाइन कर रहे हैं, वो प्रॉपर्टीज हम आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं, लिस्ट आउट करते हैं, कैटलॉग करते हैं। और जब वंस हम वो लिस्टिंग और कैटलॉगिंग कर लेते हैं तो उसके रिगार्डिंग हमारे सीपीयू के जितने भी कंपोनेंट्स होते हैं उन सबको हम ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं, अरेंज करते हैं, एंड देन उसे हम टेस्ट करते हैं, फेलियर होता है फिर तो हम फिर से उसे ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं, रीऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं। सो दिस क्रिएट्स द concept of computer architecture and organization, and hence your subject is computer organization and architecture. इसके लिए एक बहुत सिंपल एग्जाम्पल है, यू ऑल मस्ट हैव वॉच्ड द मूवी आयरन मैन 1, right? In that movie, what you have saw is that the character Iron Man is trying to design an Iron Man suit, right? So what he had done initially is he had listed out the functions or the properties that he wanted that his suit should perform. Once he have done that, then he started architecturing, actually designing those components, right? And then once he had completed the designing, what he was doing, he was organizing those components to create the Iron Man suit. And then he is continuously testing the components, each component. And once there was a failure, then he was again designing those components, and then again reorganizes, then again redesigning and organizing. And finally, he had created that Iron Man suit. Right. So this is like in the real world, that what we have shown in the movie, but actually in practical life also, the same process is followed while designing any system, while designing any digital system, right? So these are the two important terms that you should understand, and then that you should properly state in your exam while defining computer architecture and organization. Okay, I hope this example have made you very much clear. Now let's move on with the functional unit of digital system. So the functional unit of digital system comprises of three main components. First component is the input unit or input system. Second component is the CPU unit or central processing unit. Third component is our output unit or output system. So the input system is basically combination or collection of those devices that gives the input to the CPU. So what the input unit or input system is doing, input system is converting the input data into the machine language, into the binary language that could be understood by the CPU. We all know that our computer can only work on machine language or binary language, right? The language of zeros and ones. So the input unit basically converts the input data into zeros and one language so the CPU can further process it. Once the data is received inside the CPU, then it further processes the data, decodes the data, and follows arithmetic logic unit, control unit, and memory unit. So CPU is a combination of arithmetic logic unit, control unit, and memory unit. While we talk about arithmetic logic unit, in case of arithmetic logic unit, when we say arithmetic, it includes the functions like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. When we talk about logical unit, this comprises of functionalities like comparison. Comparison means like less than, greater than, equal to, not equal to, and it also includes some other logical functionalities like functions or programs based on logical gates, right? So it includes all the logical gates like AND gate, NOT gate, OR gate, XOR, XNOR, NAND, NOR. So all those logical gates performance are performed in the system with the help of logic unit, and hence it comprises a combined section of arithmetic and logic unit. When it comes to the control unit has two specifications or two functionalities. First is it decodes the instruction. Why it is decoding? So that the CPU could understood the current instruction precisely. So first functionality that is performed by the control unit is decodes the input instruction or input data that is coming to the CPU. Second is it transfers the control signals. It transfers the control signals to all the components in the CPU. So what this mean is, like when the instruction comes into the CPU, which all component had to perform its task or had to contribute in the completion of that particular task, all those components get active or enabled from the control signal that are being transferred from the control unit. So this is the central unit from where all the signals propagate to all the peer components of the CPU. Third is the memory unit. So memory unit is used for storage purpose, for storing the data. It provides the storage to your data or instruction, right? So it includes RAM and ROM memory, secondary primary memory, auxiliary memory. So all those different kinds of memories collectively creates the memory unit in our CPU. So our CPU is the brain of our computer. Without the CPU, your computer system or digital system is mere just a metal box. Without that, any digital system cannot perform any task. So, like our brain in human beings is the main section from where our whole body gets circulated and functionalities perform of our human body. Similarly, like CPU, this is also the brain of the digital system, of a computer system. Without CPU, the whole system will collapse. Your system, your digital system will not perform any task. Okay, now when it comes to the output unit receives the calculated data from the CPU, and then it transfers the data towards the storage unit. It transfers the data towards the storage unit, or it transfers the data to the output unit. Output unit means output components. Output components like monitor, display screen. So these all kinds of components where your output will be displayed. So the output unit either transfers the data towards the storage or displays the data on the output components. So what happens over here is working wise, it converts the calculated received data in human understandable language. So it again converts the binary data or machine language data into the data which can be understood by the users. So this is what performed in the output unit. So this is the basic functional unit of a digital system, right? So when now we can define the digital system as it is a programmable machine which reads the binary data as instructions. We have already understood that input data or input unit gives the input to the CPU in the form of binary language. Then the CPU processes the binary data. So this section is the CPU processing. CPU processes the binary data and displays a calculated digital output. Here comes the output unit. So these all three components collectively creates a digital computer. Therefore, a digital computer are those that work on a digital data. So all those data that is being processed inside the CPU or inside the digital system for completing some instructions, some tasks, some functionalities defined. So these all data is called as the digital data. So this is the definition of digital computers. So what all kind of input units can be? Input unit can be a keyboard, a mouse, a joystick, or a scanner can be your input unit, right? It converts the data into the binary language that is mentioned over here. So this is brief about input unit. Then comes the CPU. I've already explained it to you about it, that it is the brain of a computer. It processes the data and it processes data with the help of three components: arithmetic unit, logic unit, and memory unit, right? So these all points are mentioned over here in brief. You may please read out by yourself. Third is the output unit. Output unit, as mentioned, that it converts the binary data coming from the CPU in a human understandable form, and various output units includes monitor, printer, plotters, and many other output components from where the user can read the output, right? So these are the main functional units of a digital system. Now, based on these components, our digital system can be architectured into two forms, in two ways. Like first is the von Neumann architecture. First is the von Neumann architecture. Second is Howard architecture. When comes to the von Neumann architecture, uh, so in case of von Neumann architecture, okay, sorry. Let me make you understand von Neumann. Von Neumann architecture is based upon the name of a scientist, von Neumann, John von Neumann. He designed this architecture in year 1945, and it was physically accepted in around 1950s or 1952. And from then, the construction of computers or laptops was based upon von Neumann architecture. Any digital system was designed on the basis of von Neumann architecture. Now, let us understand that. Now, this is our first component, input component. Second component is our CPU. CPU comprises of three subcomponents. First is the arithmetic logic unit. So this is the first component. Second is our control unit. So this is the second subcomponent. Third is the memory unit. So this is the third component. And then the desired output is transferred to the output system. So here, this is our third component. So this is how the architecture is observed in the system designing. The input system will get the input, will be transferred to the CPU. CPU inside the CPU, the control unit will receive the input. It decodes that instruction, and then it transfers to the arithmetic logic unit. Arithmetic logic unit then transfers the instruction towards the main memory for fetching the data. And now, when comes to the fetching the data from the memory system, there comes the main functionality of a von Neumann architecture. We consider that the main memory system comprises of both data and instruction, for both data and address of the instruction. So what happens is there is one common way for fetching the data and for transferring the data to the main memory. So this particular section is one single common way. This is a one-way process where data can be fetched and simultaneously data can also be transferred to the main memory. So there is some kind of a hindrance that we state over here as a bottleneck problem. What is the bottleneck problem? Bottleneck problem states that there is delay in processing multiple instructions simultaneously. That means multiple instruction or multiple data cannot be processed from the main memory or into the main memory in von Neumann architecture. Right? So this is the bottleneck problem that have occurred in von Neumann architecture, but still von Neumann architecture is currently used in all system designing. Why we are using it? This due to this problem as well. For that, let us first understood the Hardwired architecture. So Hardwired architecture is a theoretical content. It is not physically opted for designing the systems, because with Hardwired architecture, our system designing would become very expensive. Our computer systems, our laptops, any digital system would become very, very expensive. Why it is becoming very expensive? Because here in this section, where we are stating only one system communication pathway for, in case of von Neumann architecture, for transferring and fetching data. In case of Hardwired architecture, this particular section comprises of multiple ways, multiple pathways. So multiple pathways obviously make the processing of multiple data and instructions simultaneously. But due to the multiple communication pathways, the architecture would become expensive. If the architecture would become expensive, then the digital system component or object would become very expensive, right? So this is a disadvantage of Hardwired architecture, why it is not opted for physically designing the computer systems or digital systems. But yes, Hardwired architecture is currently used only in signal processing. So any kind of signal processings are done according to the Hardwired architecture, but system designing is done on the basis of von Neumann architecture. So these are the two types of digital system architecture which have been opted, which have been derived from the functional units component, but due to their some advantages and disadvantages, first Hardwired architecture is currently used for signal processing, but von Neumann architecture is used for system designing, right? Although it has bottleneck problem, but we have bypassed this problem in physically architecturing or designing the system. How we have bypassed this problem, this we would understand in further coming videos, where we will discuss about system bus. So when you will be able to understand the term system bus, then you will get the idea how this bottleneck problem have been bypassed and one single pathway have become very efficient in processing multiple tasks and instructions. That is why we are using von Neumann architecture in our current computer systems. So this is all about functional unit of digital systems. For this, you may refer Morris Mano book according to the AKTU syllabus, which is very good for referring this particular topic. That's all from my side for this topic. Thank you for patience listening.